go. Good morning. Hi, Wanda, Sherry, and Karen, and Angela, and Pamela. Good morning, everyone. Why is this doing this? There we go. How's everyone doing today? I hope you all are well. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Avanel. Hi, Linda. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Lois from Saskatchewan. Is it still cold in Canada, or did you get fake spring yet? I'm excited to see it too, Jessica. I've never done this before. So I'm going to just tell you, just in case, I'm not going to have too much stuff. In case you missed it, today is the last day to sign up for Paper Pumpkin. This month's Paper Pumpkin features the distinctive stamps, which are the ones that look 3D. It is photopolymer, so today's the last day for that. Let's see what else I have here. I think that's it. Hold on, I'm showing you all my stuff. I'm trying to get myself organized. And good morning, Donna. Thank you for sharing, Sandra. I also want to announce, and let me make sure I say it correctly because it is, where is it? Ginny Mueller won the March Paper Pumpkin Kit. So if you know Ginny, be sure to tag her. If you are Ginny, all you have to do is go to my page, my blog, which is rachthestamper.com, and there is a giveaway. And you just click on it, and you have to fill out a Google form, and then I'll mail it to you. So I'm mailing it not in the box. So if you want the box, we have to discuss shipping. Because it's cheaper to send it without the box. And make sure, if you're just joining me, that you leave a comment. And I will draw for something else. I don't know. I have 2 people to mail stuff out. I did get the other person's information, so I'll be mailing them something as well. So leave a comment. I got lots of stuff to give away. I'll give you something. I'll mail something. So make sure if you haven't said hi already, say hi. I do appreciate the sharing, so thank you for doing that as well. And in case you saw it, let's see. You're here, and your 2 granddaughters will join as soon as they're finished their breakfast. Well, hi, granddaughters. They love watching stamping videos with you. That's too funny. Sometimes my son will come up to and he'll be like, what are you watching? Oh, I thought it was cards. And I'm like, oh, he's disappointed I'm not watching cards. Good morning from beautiful Florida. So just in case, hey Donna, just in case you didn't hear yesterday, I'm just going to give a little update. I won't dwell on this too long, but in case you missed it, the trimmer and the Big Shot will be retiring. So these are going to be on the online store while supplies last. And I'm going to tell you, I checked right before I got on, and nothing is sold out thus far. However, the cutting pads are on low inventory. But remember, you can always get these cutting pads at Michael's or Joann's or whatever other craft stores near you, Hobby Lobby. I'm sure there's other ones beside that. So this is getting on low inventory, as is the die brush. That's on low inventory. Everything else is fine, but they will be while supplies last. So if you have this trimmer, which mine actually dropped it not that long ago out of the back of my car, so it's all scratched up and whatnot, but I do have some blades. I bought these a while ago. I've not bought any replacement blades. Also, just as note, you may want to get a couple things. You may want to get some of the blades. Apparently people say that once the blades get dull, they're still really good for cutting glimmer paper. So maybe you could like move them into this bottom slot once you use them or something. I don't know if they'll actually fit there. You could move them over here maybe. But you can buy replacement blades for cutting and for scoring. And you are also able to buy this little tray thingamajiggy here, which I do have a spare one, but I'll tell you, I've never used it. What I usually do is, I usually will run either my finger through here, or you can run something else through here, and kind of clean out the residual paper that's stuck. And you can also flip it over if for some reason you hit a snag. Another quick tip just to make note of is a lot of people on YouTube, I believe Connie Stewart has a video on how to tune up your trimmer. So how to keep it really cutting well. The only thing is, here's the reason. You all know, I'm sure you've had one or it's happened to you or someone you know, these cutting blades stink. And they tried and tried and tried to replace the blades. They got a new blade person, and no matter what, the blades don't cut. So they're getting rid of it because it's not the best. because they have gone through so many blades and just replacing blades, and people get new blades and they still don't cut. So they are redesigning whatever it is they're using. However, it's not going to be in the new catalog yet. It will come. I don't know when it will come. When it's going to come, I will let you know. But it's not going to be in the catalog. So for now, make sure your cutter works. If not, if you don't have this and you're like, now you don't want to buy it, I will tell you that Fiskars makes a wonderful cutter as well. Only thing is it doesn't cut and score. So I do like this because you can do both. So if you have it, just make sure you take good care of it. Get yourself some blades. It is a 3-blade limit right now, but once the retirement list comes out, which is April the 15th, it will be a 6-blade limit, but it's as supplies last. So once they run out, they won't have them anymore. However, they did state that through the next several months, they will be getting blades in again. So it is always useful to check. If for some reason you go to purchase blades and there are no blades available, there's a box that'll pop up that'll say, will you email me when this comes in? So put your name in, and then when it comes in, it'll send you an email alert, and then you could order some blades. So just as an FYI, I will still be using mine, but I also, as I stated yesterday, if you guys missed my blog post, I also have a guillotine cutter because I cut so much paper that this cutter just wasn't cutting it for me anyway. So I have 2 trimmers as it is. So just as an FYI. Fiskars also does have a scoring blade. And the other thing is too, you could use your bone folder to score as well. So the Fiskars that I had was the rotary trimmer, and I really did like it a lot. And I will tell you, I had that for the longest time. I didn't buy this until probably a year ago, maybe. I think it was a year ago. So what I used to do is I just cut and scored all my paper and stuff off of camera. That way you didn't know what I was using. But I had a really big Fiskars trimmer, so it was tough to go from that to this because it was opposite. And let me see what else. Yeah, so if no box comes up, then they probably are out at this time. But I'm telling you, currently, they are in stock from what I saw. So just as an FYI. The scoring blades, it says they were discontinued. You know, when I looked on there this morning, I looked into that thing. And hold on, I'm going to pull it up real quick on my iPad. I'm just going to take a peek and see. But as of this morning, I didn't see anything. But again, I could be wrong. I don't know everything. Okay, and then the other thing for the Big Shot, if you do have a Big Shot, you might want to get yourself an extra set of plates, or don't. You can get them from whatever store you want to get and use a coupon. So that is completely up to you. I still don't see it on there, but that doesn't mean anything. I might have just missed something. So anyway, what we're going to do is just make sure if you have stuff you want to get, you can get it. Fiskars blade. And some of the blades are a little different. I'm kind of hoping that they do come out with a guillotine cutter, because personally, when you're cutting a lot of cardstock, if you're doing like demos or prepping, or say you just make a lot of cards, if you make a lot of cards and you sell them on, maybe you make wedding cards or whatever, that trimmer just does not cut the cutting part. Personally, I don't think it does. I think that it could use some improvements, which I'm kind of glad. I'm looking forward to whatever's going to happen. Again, the Big Shot is not going to be replaced immediately. They're looking into stuff. Just making my uneducated guesses. I know that Sizzix has had some issues lately with partnerships and some other stuff with die copyright things. So I don't know, maybe they're just trying to distance themselves from Sizzix, but you can still buy, because Sizzix makes the Big Shot, so it's not like Stampin' Up made it anyway. You can still buy, platforms, you can buy plates, you can get all of that stuff. You just won't get it through Stampin' Up any longer until we come out with something different. But on to our card. Here's what we're going to make. And again, I haven't made this before, so hopefully, oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Hopefully I don't ruin anything, because me with doing stuff. So what I did was, I have 3 different ones that we're going to work on. Hopefully they'll turn out well. I don't know. I'm wondering if I need to add some more stuff to this, but I kind of started with laying this one out. So one of them, we're going to use the Jar of Sweets framelits dies. I use them to cut it out, but you also don't have to have this. So if you don't, I have a couple extra pieces I put on the side. So what I used was I believe this is called the how sweet it is, the designer series paper, and I just cut some different stuff out. Some of them, like you'll see the candies, I hand trimmed them. I punched out the circle shapes with the 3/4 inch. Where's the circle? There's circles here somewhere. I don't know where they are, but not the lollipops. But I punched some of these out and just kind of hand trimmed them to fit into spaces. So I'm not sure you'd want to use the gummy bears. That would be an awful lot of trimming to do. But there's lots of different patterns. Here's some of the other ones on here. I cut out a few of these gumball machines. So that is going to be one of the cards we're going to do. And I have that paper there just in case we need something extra. Let's see what else. Can't cut from point B and point A on a guillotine cut. It does take a little practice, but the slicing is amazing. The other one we're going to use is Geared Up Garage. And I want to show you, I did a little bit of extra stuff. So I thought we would do like some out of the box, because I've only seen these floating frames done with like flowers. So this one I thought would be great for everybody that maybe needs to make a Father's Day card. That would be cool because you could do 2 in 1. So what I did was I used, I have lots of different stuff here. I used some of the DSP and I cut out some of the cars. See those here. Because there is a car die, but these aren't really that difficult. You could trim out the, oh my gosh, what is this all of a sudden? I'm losing my marbles. We have like a Mustang. I don't know what kind of muscle car this is. This is probably, I'm going to say like some sort of a Ford or a Chevy. Don't be offended if I call it the wrong thing. I did hand trim out a couple of these. There is a die that cuts the gas tank, but you could cut out a few of the little oil, I don't know what you call them, squeezers, oil can. It reminds me of Scarecrow. I used the 3/4 inch punch to punch out some of the gears. And then I did some of the steering wheels. I did some of the keys. I did like a couple of these other pieces as well. And then I also did some of the copper, the silver, and the black foil. So that's going to be for this card. So we're going to put all 3 of these together. So I'm hoping this turns out correctly and it doesn't take 25 years to do it. And then last but not least, I thought what fun it would be to do it with the Rooted in Nature set. So what I did was, there is not a die for this big, I guess, what is that, like a slab of wood? I don't know, my brain is not cooperating with me today. So I did that, and then I punched out a whole bunch of different leaves, all different colors. I believe this is I don't know if that's a ginkgo or whatever that is. There's some small leaves, big leaves. I kind of tried to keep these all in the same tonish, except I did do a couple of these in balmy blue, these little sprigs. So I also did this. I stamped a whole bunch of stuff. I cut it out, and then this one I stamped and just hand punched or hand trimmed it out. So those are the 3 we're going to do. I am going to start with the Sweetest Thing, since I kind of already have that one set up slightly. And so I have Press and Seal, which one thing I will tell you, I'm going to try to move this over because I heard that you do need to take a little bit of the tack off. Since I've never done this before, we'll see how it works out. You really need, well, here you go, Marty, men's cards just for you. I got these, actually it's 2 of these. I got these at BJ's. And it was like probably what you would pay for maybe one of the smaller ones at the grocery store. It is still expensive though. This Press and Seal is expensive. So I don't know. That's all I've got on that. So I'm going to take, let's see. How big is a card? About that big. All right. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a piece. I'm sure there's probably a simpler way to do this without wrecking your card. I think I can get 2 out of this. So I'm going to rip this off. It's not quite as tacky as I thought it would be. So actually, I might just gently do this first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just kind of sticking it onto my little Easy Clean mat here to maybe take a little bit of the tack off. It's not too tacky, so I don't think it should be so bad. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball where I had these, and what I did was I just kind of lined them up. This one, if you can see, is like a partial piece of icing. So I'm going to stick this down here, and I kind of just arranged them how I thought would be cute. I put the biggest pieces on first, and I'll show you when I do the other card. This one's kind of cockeyed. I might have to tuck that underneath of something. And it definitely, I think the worst part about this, and I say worst being, I don't even know what I mean by that, is when you pick them up, you do have to be careful because like just a little bit of motion will move them all over the place. I did have pieces that were like partial. As you can see, this was like the end of a piece of paper. So I just kind of stuck this on the side over here. So I don't know. We'll see what this looks like. This one doesn't. I'm going to put this over here. And this may or may not match. And I'm kind of thinking the way it lays, we'll see. And what I could always do is add in like some other stuff as well. And I'm guessing, I don't really know 100%, but I'm guessing you want this to be on white. I thought it might be a good idea to do this on a different kind of a paper, like if you did it on a gray background or something, but I wasn't sure if it would make it look like it was floating or not. So we're going to have to explore that. So we'll check that out when we do our, do the guy card. So I'm going to just lay my press and seal down. Ooh, it moved things just a little. And push it down. Hopefully I have this the correct way as laying. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Let's see. Watch, if I pick this up and it falls apart, I'm just turning the camera off and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so we're good. So now I'm going to take my scissor. I'm going to just trim this off. I might be able to use this piece for something else. Probably didn't need a piece that big, but set that there. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, I'm just going to give this a really good press just to make sure. I'm going to, oh, the press and seal sticking to me over here. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to trim this edge off. This is what I've watched people do. So we'll see if this works or not. Trim this edge off. I think one thing that people have said is that you can, depending on your pieces, some of mine are already kind of a little scrappy, but if you had like bigger pieces, you could save it to piece back in. Depending, like this gumball thing, we probably could piece back in. And let's see. And then other thing you're going to need for this is dimensionals. Okay. And I also did get out the rectangle framelits. Yeah, I think, are you talking about, oh my gosh, what is his name? Oh, Lord, what's her name's husband? I can't remember what her name is now. All of a sudden, I'm having like a mental breakdown. The Australian demonstrator, Kylie Bertucci. Bruno, that's his name. So I'm going to peel this off. I saw him do it as well. And I was kind of watching some of the stuff that he did. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Missed. Don't want to take it off yet. So what I'm going to do first is, I got this out that you could do the rectangles. But I think this particular one, I think I'm going to do it with a circle. So let me grab my circle real quick. I don't really think it warrants doing it with the stitch shapes because you probably really can't see the difference. So I'm going to do I'm going to do this one with a circle. And Kylie and Bruno. I don't know what I want to call him, Bertoli. I'm losing my mind. Bruno and Kylie. Yes, I saw him do it. And then there's another demonstrator, and I should have written his name down. They're out of the UK. They're Asian. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen him before. The guy, when you watch him, he has such a like wonderful personality and sense of humor when he makes crafts. He's really is enjoyable to watch. So if you haven't checked him out, I'm going to find out what his name is. And when I do put this blog post up later, I'll tell you what his name is. But man, he was a hoot to watch. He did one where instead of doing the whole card, he kind of did it to one side. It really turned out super cute. All right, so we'll put that. That looks approximately in the center. Hopefully it's somewhat in the center there. So I'm going to put my blade on, or put my top pad on, I should say, and run this through. Oh, I've seen Jennifer McGuire do it too. I was like, when I cut these samples out the other day, because someone asked, why don't you do a floating frame? And I was like, okay, I haven't done one before. So I thought, well, I know it will take forever if I did all this stuff. So I was watching videos, and that's when I decided to do it with 3 different things to like make something fun. Probably could have used a little bigger of a circle so you have more of like a float look. Now I'm regretting that choice. But then there's going to be these. I'm going to leave this for now because there's not a whole lot of stuff on here. So I don't know what it's going to turn out looking like. So we're going to leave this one for now. Okay, now what I'm going to do And I'm still hoping I'm doing this correctly. I think now I'm going to peel this back layer off. Hopefully the little pieces stay. Is this what I'm doing? Stay where they're supposed to be. Is this right? Because then you peel this off and then you lay it back. You lay it on a... Oh, see, I watched the cutting part, but I didn't pay attention to the rest of it. Right now is when I need Jennifer Maguire or Bruno or the other dude's name I can't think of to magically appear in my craft room. Be like, Rachel, this is how you do it. Let's save the day. I'm okay. Okay, good. Thankfully. You're her. Oh, Mary. There you go, Mary. You all have Mary to thank for this. She's the one that suggested it. So thank you, Mary. Mary Peterson was the suggester. All right, so now I'm going to put dimensionals on the back because I think this is the part that makes it floaty. So I'm going to be a little generous with my dimensionals because since I haven't done this before, we'll see what it looks like. I put one here. Just watch your press and seal so you don't rip it up. I was watching a video yesterday that Rena K did. So Rena Krupski, she's Gina K's daughter. And she was really funny because she was doing a glitz. It's like glitter gel product that they have. And she ended up sticking something on with dimensionals. And she said, if you go to the Thermo website, they will probably suggest that you use 757 dimensionals on your product. And that really just had to make me laugh out loud because I thought, is that so true? Sometimes we're like dimensional stuff to death. And then other times we're like, one's just fine. All right, let's see. Put one here. Okay, now I'm going to put just a couple of these little ones on places as well. You want to make certain your dimensionals are near the edges. Okay, thank you, Donna, for that tip. Clearly, Donna has watched a lot of videos as well. So this one doesn't have one at all. So since these are layered together. Yeah, probably because you want to make sure that they actually stick near the edge. Just fill in a couple more of these. This is going to be like the most tedious process of this whole ordeal here. If you have any strips, you could probably put strips as well. Let's see. Okay. We watch the same videos. I know, isn't it funny though? I think a lot of us on here do watch the same videos, which is kind of funny at the same time because we're like all kind of recycling people's ideas. Which, by the way, did you guys watch Gail's Joseph's Technicolor coat the other day? That was a great idea. And the funny part is too, it's kind of like those things where like what is old is new again, but you bring like new stamp sets to it or new, let me see, new whatever the else is to it, which is, I like that kind of stuff. There's, you know, I'm sure somewhere somebody thought of an idea that was original, which kind of goes back to this whole dye thing, whatever it is that's going on with these dyes and copyright infringement. But I mean, I don't know. We all kind of recycle ideas. All right, I think I'm going to put one more over here to the edge because Donna's making me nervous now. Well, there's one missing over here. Okay, so this is what I think I'm going to go with. All right, and then this side, I didn't do this one at all. We'll wait for this one. I'll do the insides as a separate video because this will be painful to remove all these daggone dimensionals. Now is when I need like some... Except, you know, you can't really put music on when you're doing your Facebook videos because when you transfer them over to YouTube, then they're like, this is copyrighted and we're not going to let you replay this video. So I'm going to just sing a song for you today. Today is one of my coworkers' last days at the job. So I was singing her, I shouldn't say I was singing it. I should have sung it this morning, but I was texting it to her. Oh, this is painful, guys. I am so sorry. The rate I'm going, we might only get through one card today. What I might do is just assemble them and not stick them until later, depending on what time it is. But I'm going to try my best to do something. So I was singing her this song. And I went like, today is your very last day. You don't have to work there anymore. But something like that. But it made much more sense when I sent it to her and it was rhyming. And I also had to take a screenshot because it would have been better if I would have just called her and done like a videogram of me singing. Because hold on, let me look over here real quick. Gail's dimensional backing trick, what is that? Aside from the fingernail thing, I know that one, but it's between that and this press and seal is painful. Gail, why don't you, since you're on here watching me struggle with this, why don't you share with everyone whatever your dimensional trick is? Or whoever can type the fastest. Most people use glue for this part. On the dimensionals? Because how is it floating if it's not up then? Because that's just confusing to me. And I have not done it before, so I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I would say if they're not popped up, then they're really not technically floating. So I guess you could do whatever way you want to do it. I mean, who am I? I'm just Rachthestamper, trying not to make too many mistakes that people stop watching me. I do attempt to be mildly entertaining in the meantime, though. Nope, one more. One more. I can see this is going to end up being one of those cleanups that's going to be a crafter math. All right, let's see. I think I got them all. Okay, so now is the part where it's going to be, let's see if we can line this up correctly again. You poke the dimensionals with it and removes the poking tool. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's see, does that look like that's right? Nope, I think this is upside down. I think the way I cut this, I probably should have checked that first. Oh, well. All right, here goes nothing. I feel like the hole is slightly off center, but I guess you really won't know that because the way the pieces line up, and we can always trim it a little bit, I suppose. All right, so I'm just really pushing these dimensionals on, and you can see my little line here just didn't really line up. So you might want to make sure you use bigger pieces, especially at your edge parts. If you have a piece that's like a partial piece. All right, here comes the moment of truth. I'm going to peel slowly so I don't rip any of my paper. Or my DSP images, I should say. Whew. I tell you what. All right, this one got stuck. I'm going to take this one from a different angle. I think that dimensional was one of the most stressful things I've ever done on a Facebook Live. All right, let me see. So I see what she meant here. So see, I did not put a dimensional on this little piece here, so it's flipping up. So I'm going to, I don't know if that's going to fit a whole one or not. Where's my snips? I'm going to cut one of these in half and stick it underneath. Still sitting here thinking of Bruno Bertoli. What the heck? I can't even say that word. I'm almost getting ready to curse on Facebook Live. That's a certain way to get me blocked from Facebook Live if I start cursing. All right, and this one, which might have been a good thing. Clearly, I didn't take the dimensionals off of this at all. So this might have been a blessing in disguise because now I can move it down a little bit. There we go. I guess you could do it that way too. Like you could piece it together if you wanted to. And I don't think I put one on the top of this little jelly bean jar, which is probably why it was pulling up. Yep, I didn't. All right, let me see. I'm going to put just a half of one on. Oh, that's the opposite way. These little tiny dimensionals, I'm going to put a half of one on the back of this. See if I can pull this off without ripping the lid off. Whew! Well, that was something, but it's floating. That is cute. A little painful. Reminds me of Clark Griswold. Little fool, a lot of sap. This was a little painful, but it turned out really cute. Okay, so we'll finish this one up first. So we actually do finish something. I'm going to go with Gorgeous Grape because it's one of my favorite colors. So I have a piece that's already cut. So I have that one. And then I guess we're also going to need a little white piece for underneath, like a little panel. So if we have like a little scrappy, oh, this might work out. Nope, a little too small. I was going to say, if you have a little scrappy piece, you could put your thing underneath. So let's do this. Just going to give that a press. There's a couple little doodads hanging, but quite honestly, the way they're hanging, even though they're a little bit off, I don't think it looks that bad because it kind of makes them look more like they're floating. So I'm going to leave those there. I'm going to put some, oh, hold on. Getting ahead of myself here. Hold on. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. And I guess if you had any other little pieces, you probably could put some glue to hold them down if they were tiny. I'm going to do that. I have to have some sort of a scrap of something that'll fit underneath of here. You know, I got to have a whole bag of scraps, but none of them are the right size. Which often makes me wonder, why do I keep these scraps in the first place? Alright, so I'm going to just pull out a piece of Whisper White, and this will just be my scrap pieces that I'm going to create. So what I'm going to do is, let me see real quick, try to save myself a little bit of trouble here. So if this measures about three, I'm going to do 3 by 3. So I'm just going to cut this at 3 inches. Scoot that over. Cut this at 3 by 3. And then I'll stamp something on this and hook it in there. Try not to get the glue on. Here you go. Now you see my preparedness is going directly out the window. Okay, so where are our little extra pieces? How about we'll just do happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm going to kind of do that in the center. And then I'll just put like, I'll put the lollipop and the candy in. Like that. We'll do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do basic gray. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I'm going to do basic gray for this. And I'm going to stamp this off once just to make sure it's not too dark. Basic gray. Whoops. And then I'm going to do the same for the, oh Jesus, the candy. That candy didn't stamp all the way, but that's okay. I'll fix it. And then I'm going to do Highland Heather for the happy birthday part. All right, so I'm just going to see approximately. Okay. So I did a little bit lighter, so that is Highland Heather, not Gorgeous Grape, if you're wondering why it's not quite super dark. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, what is this? I think I have, oh, nope, that's real red. I don't want that one. I wanted lipstick. So I have lovely lipstick, so I'm going to just color this in just a little bit. So I'm going to color in. Lovely lipstick. You can totally omit this for yours if you want. You could stamp it in color. You could just do a little sentiment. I'm going to put a little bit around, dark around the top. Okay, there's one. This one I'm going to just do in light. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the dark on this one because the outline's not so great. And so it's funny, I was watching this this Facebook Live for this other thing that I'm kind of doing, and there was so many people on there that were like complaining about the Facebook Live. They're like, this is ridiculous. If you people don't know how to set up a Facebook Live by now, you shouldn't be doing it. And I thought to myself, I bet none of those people have ever done a Facebook Live, because I don't know why I chose brown for this, but it's there now. This is hard. Hard to do and not feel like a fool when you make a mistake. And I know you all aren't judging me, because You're all lovely, lovely people. And if you are, it's okay. I really don't mind. Put a little bit of dark. I'm on Highland Heather again, just in case. I don't think I said that. I'm just going to do a little outline and just add like a little bit of the swirl. And then I'm going to just kind of fill this in a little bit. But it is hard to do this kind of stuff, especially when you make a mistake. That's when it hits like the most ultimate hardness, when you screw something up. Let me see if I don't want to squeeze this too much and get this all crazy. A wink of Stella. Stella's not cooperating with me today. Of course she's not. I'll have to get a new one out. Let's see. I think that Stella is empty. We all made mistakes. I know, but these people were harsh. They were like, I'm never going to watch this again. These people don't know what they're doing. I thought, oh my gosh, lady. I guess those kind of people are the kind of people that never make mistakes, right? They must be. Okay, so I got my Stella. I'm going to put this here. Oh, that looks super cute. Sparkly. Okay, so got that. All right, so now I'm going to put this down. Just quickly drying it here. I'm going to put this down. Let me see where I can flip this onto this. That way, in case it's still wet, sparkly, it'll pick a little bit of it up. It won't get everywhere. Okay, now one other thing you could do if you were really worried about placement, and I just thought of this, is you could take your card, wherever you're going to sit it, take like a pencil, and kind of do like a little trace. Just like that. So I did make these very light pencil lines. There's one here and one there. So when I put this down, I'm going to just kind of make sure that I get it in between those pencil lines. It looks like here and here. Kind of like that. Okay. And then we'll flip this over. Kind of like that. By now that Tombow liquid glue is, it's not drying on itself, but you know what I mean. Another thing you could do if you had like some extra candies popped out, so if you had this, you could put one of these candies on here too. But you will just put them flat. I wouldn't pop those up because it would kind of compete with the whole floating frame. Okay, so there's number one, floating frame. A little busy, but still pretty cute. Not too bad. I'm not as afraid to make the second one now. So let's move on. Let me just wipe these off just quickly, because if not, I'm going to forget, and then they're going to get lost, because even though they're stained pink, they're still clear, and I somehow managed to lose lots of things in this office. Don't know how. Okay, so let me put these guys in here. And I did also get out the coordinating stamp sets for each one of these, because I kind of figured it'd be easier to keep them like on the same theme. But you could change, you could do lots of other stuff for this as well. Embossing on there would be really cute, but again, I only really have an hour, so I don't make this take 57 hours, because that's exactly what's going to happen. So there's number one. Let me move this stuff over. And here's the other piece of my press and seal. Here's my framelit. So these, still, if you buy them together, you get 10% off. So you buy it as a bundle. Okay, so then, how about if second, we will do the, oops, didn't want to do that, sorry. Hitting the wrong button there. All right, so second we'll do the guy card. So what do you guys think? I'm going to take whatever the majority says is what I'm going to go with. Do you think we should put this on white, or should we try doing it on like gray? So it still would be floating, but it would be like on a light gray. So I'm going to give you a second. So let's see. Lose things, right? I know. Aren't we the queen? I never lose anything either. I was just saying that to make you guys feel better, really. That's really, truly what I was doing, because I'm just that nice kind of person. Okay, gray. All right, somebody voted gray. Good enough. That's all I needed, was one person. All right, so I'm going to go with the lightest gray, which I think is, I think this is gray granite. Pretty sure. Gray granite. Let's see. Come on, Reach. Get it together. Gray granite, yes. So I think I have a panel in here. I'm just going to cut this one in half. All right, let me move this over. Even though it has copper, I still think it'll look cute. So I'm going to cut this down. So I have 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so that's what we're going to do for our background. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, this again is the hardest part. You kind of got to line up what you're going to do. You can put your gears up there, put a key. Here's that oil can I trimmed out. Let's see. Copper. I might end up I'm going to swap this out for a smaller one for now, just to see. Let's see. Where the heck? Here's my cars. Car. I have a steering wheel. Some of the other couple. What you kind of want to do though, and I'm not doing this because I feel like I'm rushing because I'm boring people, but I'm going to slow down for a second. You want to make sure you put your biggest images first, okay? Because you can put your biggest stuff and then you can put your smaller things in, and it kind of will help them to fit a little bit better. So I'm going to take this, put a gas can. This one, since it's got like a little layer on the side, I'm actually going to put this on the side over here. We have a speedometer, a key. I'm going to drive him up here a little bit. Put another gas tank. Have another gauge of some sort. Put in, I still want to put in a couple more gears, so let me see. Girl, you ain't kidding. I'm glad you said it, because that's exactly what I was thinking. But you know, I'm not allowed to curse on live Facebook if I want to stay doing Facebooks. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. So you could do a big one if you wanted to do less dimensionals, but we're going to do it like this. You can also have all these little extra pieces for the inside. Donna, you crack me up, I swear. Oh, heavens. I think this one might be big enough. Let's see, that it's going to work. Oop, it moved things slightly. That's okay. We're going to have to stick with it. Wherever it is where it's staying. Okay. I'm just hoping I picked the correct side to put on there. Okay. So there's that. So I was able to pull just one sheet off, and I got two cards out of it. What is the gray color used instead of black? This background color is gray granite, but the color that I stamped with when I did those the lollipops was basic gray, and I just stamped it off before I did it. I use basic gray a lot on stuff. Sometimes I stamp it off, but I like the tone of it the best, I think, the basic gray, but sometimes it is a little bit dark. So if I ever want something to be like a shadowy, I use basic gray on a lot of stuff. And then gray granite is the paper. All right, so make sure these are all here. All right, so I think I'm going to do this on a red background card. So I'm going to get out a piece of real red. Is that real red? Yep. I like that. Grab the right one. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to go ahead and just get this cut. That way, I'm going to score this one the other way. So I'm going to score it 4 1/4, turn it, and then I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. So I have that. This is my other, where did I do with that white piece? I'm going to cut another piece. I'm going to cut this one. I know I cut this at 3, so I'm kind of hoping the shape is still going to work. So maybe that'll be for our inside. I don't know. I might have to reevaluate depending on what shape we use. So this will be our base. This is possibly going to be for our sentiment. So let me grab my dimensionals. Okay. All right, so pull this off. Oh, forgot, gotta cut. Come on, Rach. All right, I'm gonna use one of the rectangles for this one. Not really sure why, but why not? Do it like that. That looks fun. And since this is kind of a weird shape, it looks mostly straight to me. It could end up not being straight, but I'm going to tape it in place just in case. So same thing. I'm bringing the big shot again. Pop this down, cut it out. And then when I have some time later, I will work on some cards using the inside layer. Hello from Idaho. Don't worry if you're late. I'm just reading your comments there about the braless. Look, so I'm gonna, I can't even. I'm gonna pull this off. Let's see, it is a little bit thicker to go through both of those pieces because of the press and seal. But so we could use this for our outside, or our other card for the inside, I should say. And then, let's see. Let me find the edge of this. Peel it apart. So Donna, who is on here, you guys all, I'm sure, are familiar with each other by now. Donna is like, she types what I think, but I probably shouldn't be saying on here. So it's always funny having you guys on here with your back and forth banter. That makes this the most enjoyable, just FYI. All right, so let me see which way I pull this off. And you can see, look, it is crooked. Oh, well, that's okay. So I'm going to put right here, this is going to be the top. I'm just going to put a T there so I know. All right. This may end up being a fail because I feel like the way that shape is, I don't know, that might have been a mistake. We will see. Time will tell. So is everyone ready for Easter? Anybody do anything special for Easter? We do all our Polish traditional stuff, even though I may be the only Polish person aside from my son at Easter this year, because I think my brother may be going out of town. But some little kids out back hooting and hollering. They're cute. So we do Polish ham and Polish sausage and pierogies. We have to have a butter that's carved in the shape of a lamb. My grandfather did that every year. One time he carved his own. Let me tell you, that was probably the most unlammy lamb I've ever seen. Okay. One here. Hold on, guys. I promise I'm trying to make this as painless. Doesn't seem that way, but as painless as possible. All right, now what I'm going to do, just because I have a couple of these in like weird things, I'm going to take the edge of the dimensional here and I'm going to trim a couple of them down so I can do a few of these as strips. You could do the strips as well if you wanted to, but I don't have them out, so I don't want to make you guys suffer while I do that. And some of these I got smart and I pulled the backing off as I applied it. Let's see. Oops. This shape is probably not the first one. This year it's bunny butter. You know, I got bunny butter too, now that you mention it. I didn't get the lamb. Probably don't want to start off doing a rectangle one your first time. Just FYI. Because it's a little difficult to keep it kind of straight the way you want it. Alright, I have to do one more thing because I have this little teeny strip here. So, let me see if I can cut this without screwing it up. Oh no, and you have a cold and allergies. That stinks. Yeah, I guess it's that time of year, right? Alright, this one I want to put here. That's going to be close enough to the tip. I'm going to have to kind of go with that. Come on. And I'm going to put one more right here. Okay. Nope, that's stuck on sideways. That is not going to work. My gosh. Oh. Holy messes. All right, and look, I completely forgot one of the things there. I can already see I didn't put any dimensionals on it at all. Oh, this was really good in theory. Maybe this should be, instead of a floating frame, this should be like a gluey card. And I might have to go with the fact that it's just not going to be a floating frame. It's going to be like a abstract element card, because these little things, ooh, painful. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to, a couple of these that are like up and down, I'm going to put some glue on some of them. I'm going to cheat. It's going to be a half floating card. Somebody that's like probably walked away to go to the bathroom and they're like, oh my God, she's still pulling dimensionals off of that? Yes. Yes, she is. Okay. Oh, God, almost ripped that one. Sweet Jesus. Okay. I think I got it. Sorry about that one. I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on these couple here. And these are going to be the non-floating aspect of the floating card. Let's see, is there anything else I missed? I think that's it. Oh my gosh, all I have to say is I hope this works out well, because if we just went through all that and it doesn't even stick to the paper, I think I might cry. And maybe it's better to do this with like a larger frame. Okay, here we go. Myersville, Maryland. I don't know where Myersville is. I feel that like that's closer to like Annapolis. I am like a half an hour from Delaware, Gail. All right, so I'm going to lay this down. We'll see. See if it works. I don't know how I lined that up. That was some sort of a miracle. Scotch mounting tape. That might be a good idea. Oh, I know you said use glue instead, but then it's not floating. So technically, right? And here we got some goop underneath of that because I pressed it so hard, but that's okay. All right, here we go. So much does go into making this. You better really love whoever you're sending this card to. I think that's probably why I haven't made one, because it's really, really pretty. But it also looks like an awful lot of work. And now that I've done it, it is an awful lot of work. So, let's see. Oh. All right, well, we have our first casualty here, because press and seal, it kind of looks like a rusty gear, which I guess is kind of neat, but it removes one of the layers from the black foil. So, no bueno. That's not good. Not good at all. Let's see how the other foil's fine. That black does have like a kind of a iridescent-ish layer to it, but it kind of took part of it off, and that makes me really sad because I like that paper a lot. All right, so you can see right there, I mean, it's got a neat look to it, but if you want it to be black, you could do that with embossing if you wanted to. But that's not too bad, honestly. I mean, this one's a little crooked. I think because the way I put it on was a little crooked, so. And it is a teeny bit tacky. I wonder if this one is too. It is a teeny bit tacky. So one other thing I'm going to say is, afterwards, you might want to just like lightly touch it with your embossing buddy, and then that will kind of like absorb the tack off of it. I don't know, I've never done this before, so. Okay, so we have that. And let's see what else. Let me put this on here. Hopefully, this isn't going to work either, by the way, ding-a-ling, Rach. Oh, no, so close, not close enough. Because it's a rectangle. So let me just trim up a little bit of a piece here. That, and we'll go by like 4 just to make sure we have enough room. And then let's see. That's pretty good. Probably should have trimmed it down a little bit more width-wise, but that's fine. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm kind of lining this up. And then I'm going to take, I just want to make sure I get this inside. I'm going to take my pencil and just draw just a light mark so I know where to fit my sentiment inside of. So we're going to stamp our sentiment. Alrighty, so this is the fun part because this one has lots of cool stuff. So I'm going to definitely add some oil splotches. I think this is one of my favorite things on these stamps. I'm going to do basic gray again, and I'm just going to stamp this multiple times. Kind of cover up those lines. There we go. So that was basic gray, and I just stamped several different times without re-inking. And let's do that one, because I may only be making one of these, so it's either going to go to my father or my father-in-law. Time will tell who gets it. You could also emboss this with black embossing powder. Let's just do that because I think it'll look super cool for the heck of it. Okay, and I'm going to do Versamark. Okay, and like that. And let me grab my bin of embossing powder. So I have my coffee filter, which I probably shouldn't have put that on top, and I think that's black. Black powder, which we did find out the other day, the black powder is carrying over. The black is, the gold, the silver, the copper, the white, I think, and the clear. All right, so there's that. It might be a little bit crooked, but that's all right. One time, that's kind of funny, one time when my dad came over when I was first starting to make cards, this is before I was a demonstrator and I just made cards, he told me that he really likes the little scrappy pieces that I throw away, of like the stuff that I stamp off, much better than what I do with the actual cards. And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but here again, I'm going to show you guys, this is the Boss, which my very good friend Donna gave to me. Cool part about this is you can turn it on and let it sit and heat up while you're doing something else, which I have done a couple times lately, and then just pick it up by the handle and heat your sentiment up. I still do hit the back just to kind of make sure it doesn't get too warped. Yep, that's done. Okay. All right, so there's that. And here is this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. And I'm putting glue because sometimes with it warping, you want to make sure you have something that's really going to be like nice and stiff. So I'm going to kind of set this where I think it needs to go. And then I'm going to put this on top just to make sure. I'm going to scoot it over just a tad. Just a little bit. Let me make sure this. Yeah, that's fine. And then press it down. And then I'm going to put glue on this. So excited. Only 2 more days to on stage. Hopefully I'll find out some cool stuff. I'll be able to share it. I will post it on here. I'm pretty sure I can share some stuff. So, oops. I will post that on here for you guys. Whatever cool things I find out. Hopefully some interesting new stamp sets. Press that. And actually with this piece, like the floating and the not floating, I don't really think it looks that bad. Maybe it could be because it's gray. I don't know, but I think this is cool. But again, it was a lot of work, so I think all these cards, quite honestly, are very labor intensive because it does take a lot to cut all this stuff ahead of time. So this is what we have so far. To cut that ahead of time, which, I mean, you could like have a day to just cut stuff, and then the next day you could be like, okay, now today I'm going to do like design them and lay them out. But I probably will tell you one thing: if you design them and lay them out I would be a little bit wary against putting the press and seal on them, because I think the longer the press and seal sticks to them, it could adhere enough that it actually peels off a layer. So if you're kind of like prepping all of your stuff, I would say lay it out, like put your images, what you want, lay them on a card or something and sit them on the side, but don't put the press and seal on them yet. So these guys, I'm going to, even though I don't actually necessarily finish them, where's my other one? I'm going to peel the press and seal off of these before I actually make a card with them, because I don't want them to get ruined after all that work. So, all right, so there's 2. Let me move this out of the way, and we will put our last one together. So far, this is going pretty well. Oh my, is it really 10:30 already? Holy cow, this was way longer than I expected it to be. All right, let me move these down. I'll move these up. This is a little bit longer winded of one, but pretty much I just have to make sure I leave by 11 to pick him up. So it's just you guys watching might be like, oh my God, enough already, lady, really? I'm going to do this one on white again. And I'm going to put 2 of these up here. Kind of fill in the leaves. And I guess this is like a good thing to think about now is maybe the bigger. So I'm not going to use these pieces. You could use these to decorate the inside of the card because they're pretty small. So probably goes to show when you're picking something, the bigger the image you're choosing is probably better, because it will have less things to be peeling and maybe sticking. These 2 here, I'm going to overlap this. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this on. Do something a little different for this one. And you know what's quite funny, and this just kind of came to my mind, but I know when I watch Gail craft, she's always like takes her time, and she's very slow. Not slow, but you know, like taking her time, not rushing. I feel like I always rush through stuff because I always feel like I'm taking so much time from people that I feel guilty. I think that's just a Polish Catholic thing, honestly. I'm going to glue this one on here. But I love watching Gail craft because she is very, you know, she's very detailed. She just kind of goes along, takes her time with stuff. Really like that. I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave this one. If I can pick it up over here. Put this one on the edge here. Slide that over just a little. I'm going to actually bring, no, that's the same color. I'm just trying to pick a different color of something. Put this one here. I'm going to turn these leaves out so the edge is not there. Move this one up a little. Move this one over just a little. All right, I think that's going to be it. I'm not going to go overboard with this one. So, do you feel like you're rushing it? I don't ever think you do. I think the only thing is when you show stuff in the beginning and you'll kind of go through things, it's kind of like there's so much stuff sometimes, it makes me feel like I'm like making people watch more than they want to. But I guess when you think about it, if you don't want to watch it, right, you'll turn it off or you'll come back at another time and catch it. Because sometimes if I am busy and I know I can't really pay attention to something, I will just save it. That way I can watch it at a later time. I'm going to get another piece of press and seal out. Let's see. Nice part about this is it does stick to the edge here for you. And I know one other time, I've seen people say this before, like, you know, that just get to the thing. And I know a lot of times as demonstrators, sometimes we might think like, all right, already, Rachel, we already all know how to do that. But there's probably always, look at that, I just ruined this. There's probably always somebody that may be watching for the first time. Let me move this. So I try to take my time and just explain things, even though, you know, there's always somebody new, I'm assuming. I'm hoping anyway. Let's see. This isn't up far enough. Sorry, I'm going to see if I can fix this one real quick, just because I want this one thing to be up here, like that. There you go. So the nice thing which I didn't know this. Is good to know. You can pull this stuff back a little bit. I've never used press and seal for anything. I actually had to go out and buy it because I knew this was coming. But it is pretty genius for more than just food. All right, so I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna trim this off. So I will save this other piece. Really good for picking up dimensionals, cleaning your desk of stray things. Okay, I just want to make sure this is really pressed, and then we'll do this again. Oh, thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. I feel like sometimes when I'm telling you guys stuff, I learn too. So I think that's sometimes why I take my time. I'm kind of one of those people that, like, as I go along and do things, that's when I come up with ideas. Which is also why, if you watch me, probably when I started doing this, which I guess it's been about 1.5 years now that I've been doing these Facebook Lives, for a little period of time, I was trying to think of ideas ahead of time. And whenever I did them that way, I always ended up either really not liking what I made or making a mistake. So I think I'm really good at kind of flying by the seat of my pants. So that's why I was like, well, this is just the way I'm going to do it from now on. And that's just going to be the end of it. Okay, so for this one, I know when you're doing a frame technically, you would have like a long thing. But since there's not a whole lot of this, I think I'm going to do this with an oval, just to do something different. So let me see, where to put my oval? I'll do an oval. You can also do this too if you're doing like Thanksgiving or fall cards. You do it with a leaf. That would look pretty neat. So we'll just do this one with the oval. I did pick the biggest one this time, so I have a little bit more of a border. So let's see. Hopefully this will be kind of in the right area. And let me just bring the Big Shot in one more time, and I will cut this. And I think I'm going to put this one on, I think I might put this on either garden green or, ooh, mint macaron will look pretty too. Maybe I'll do mint macaron because there is one mint macaron leaf on there. I know, thank you for that compliment. That is one thing I usually would be like, nah, I really am good at improvising and on the fly and like making up. I make up a lot of songs on the fly a lot with rhyming words, believe it or not. Look, I just did it by accident. That was totally not on purpose. So there you'll have these two. So these will be, oops, come on. These will be 2 pretty cards, just like that. Be really pretty with crumb cake or soft suede, whatever it is that you wanted to do. All right, let me peel this off. By the third one, I got the hang of that. I knew I had to cut it, so I am making progress. Oops, that one stuck a little more. Oh, you know why? Probably from that liquid glue, probably squished out when I ran it through the Big Shot. Because I hooked those 2 pieces together. But that's okay, because we're going to layer it on top. You shouldn't see it. Okay, so this, where's my pencil? This again is the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull this off, just gently. Okay. One last time. Where are my, there we go. But I also like just doing that kind of stuff and making people laugh. So I think that's really what it comes down to. Just my love of amusing people. And I'm going to use as many as I can of the big dimensionals. That way we're not painfully watching me pull the tiny ones off. You can always add more. Like if you pull this up and you didn't do something correctly, you can always like lift up that little part and add some more in there. Put one more here. Oops, I should have moved that over. Yeah, too late. So next week, when I come back, I will have some stuff that I can share with you from on stage. If I was lucky enough to win anything, which I'm hoping will be the case. Some cool stamp sets. Let's see, one here. And put one here. I'm going to put one more in the front here, and then I think that's good. Okay. Try this. piercing with the fingernail thing, see if this works. So at the rate I'm going, I definitely won't be able to post this video before I leave today or post the blog post. But once we get back from school pickup and whatnot, I will get all the cards photographed and pop them up. So I do thank you all for watching. It's not over yet, I promise, but I'm just trying to get my end of the video spiel out of the way. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, you can follow my blog. You can also find me on YouTube and Instagram. And if you click, because I know sometimes Facebook is a doozy, if you click the bell button next to my name on YouTube, that is the alert button. So every time there's a new video, it'll actually send you a little notice on YouTube when you log in. Oops, come on. I do also have a newsletter, which I try not to inundate people with. So sometimes people are probably like, does Rachel still do a newsletter? I just don't send stuff out constantly because I know we all have a lot of emails to filter through. So I just don't. I send stuff if it's usually like a good sale or there's something really important. Also, if you would need a catalog, I send one to all of my customers. So if you placed an order within the last 8 months, I will send you one for free as soon as they come out. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Put this on here. Okay, so I'm going to set this down again. Make sure it's lined up. Okay, again, I did mark this with the top just since it was, you want to make sure that your shapes line up. So I'm going to kind of try without hitting the camera to look over and see if that lines up. I think it is still just the tiniest bit off. This will be probably way easier to do. Ooh, you can tell I'm on video a long time. I just hit low battery on my camera here. So I'm going to press these in and pull. I actually use my old iPhone to film my videos. So I have to make sure it's like, whoo, that one was pressed a little too hard. That was probably because of the glue. Stinkers. I have like an hour of charging time on it usually, like even if I just unplug it. So whenever my videos go a little bit long, I'm always afraid it's going to just cut out on people. So there we go. Okay, this part came up a little bit. So what I'll do is I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue and press that down. And let's see, I said mint macaron. Let me just grab a piece of that. You could do this on soft suede as well. Kind of, you know, whatever you want. Let's see. Let me just trim this one. Again, that's the other thing about making live videos. The reason I never have my card bases prepared is because I'm never really sure what I'm going to, use. And for this one, I have a scrap for sure. I'm going to do this one on, even though this is on white. Ooh, that might not look good. No, it doesn't look bad. I'm going to do it on very vanilla. I'm going to buck the trend. And I'm going to put on there, Thinking of You, because that should fit nicely. This is the clear mount, not the cling. As you can see, I have to trim this down a little bit. So I'm going to make a pencil mark here, the way I know to cut that off. Just like that. If I cut this over a little bit, it'll be okay. I'm just going to hand trim this because it's going underneath anyway. So since these are the clear mount, not the cling mount, I really had to press on that to get it to go. I'm going to do soft suede just to tie it back together. Oh, look at that. Damn stamp came off. And I'm cursing on Facebook. Here's what I'm going to do. Improvise. I'll put this down. I'm going to press. Hopefully it'll work. Let's see. Oh, miracles. Miracles never cease. And just because this is a light paper, I'm going to go ahead and erase this. You could also add a little bit of a leaf flourish to this if you wanted to. You could take one of these little doodads that you have here and glue this down. Let's just do that. I'm going to try my best to finish this so it doesn't run out of battery life. Sit that there. You can put one up at the top if you wanted to as well. put some glue on the back. Like that. Oops, my layers are sticking. Okay. I'm going to kind of slightly center this. I just want to make sure that this is, before I really press, lined up okay. Okay, this could have been moved up just a little bit, so take that into account. But not bad. Let me close this ink pad so I don't have a disaster. Press that. Flip this over. Considering this was my first 3, I really don't think they turned out horribly bad. Could have been better. The little pieces were a little bit of a doozy. But, put these so you can see them all. Get all this stuff out of the way so you can see everything. So there are at least some ideas for you if you haven't done this before. I think they turned out pretty cool considering. Again, I do still have the inserts of these, so I will do something with those as well. I'm just not 100% sure what yet. I just want to clean off this stamp. Thank you guys so much for sticking with this very, very, very long video. I will post this to Facebook. If you haven't already, be sure you leave a comment. I am going to draw a winner for something, especially because this was so painful. As a matter of fact, I'll draw 2. So I'll pick 2 people. But I won't post that until next week. I'll pick 2 people for some sort of a something or other to share with them. And thank you all for tuning in. I hope to share some great stuff with you once I get to on stage and all that fun stuff that's coming. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. You can leave me a message here on Facebook, whatever's easiest for you. But I just want you to know, once again, I hope I say it, but if I didn't say it enough, I appreciate all of your support, all of your watching, the sharing, the comments, the nice comments. Thank you guys so very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you when hopefully Friday or Saturday, I'll try and do some live videos from there. So thank you guys for watching. Have an awesome day.